Day number 9. Oh, it's not live yet. I'm live on Clubhouse. You Clubhousers are awesome and being patient with me. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Wow. My Facebook is kind of fairly new, right? Because I changed the name and all of that stuff to align with my brand. Oh, sorry, Genevieve, I moved you back. Come on back. Come on back up. I accidentally did that because the buttons are so close to each other. Okay. Samara Beth is in the house. She's in New York City. So my Multiply Influence Facebook is fairly new. And, when you start something new, you start at 0. Guys, a lot of people are scared to start something because they start at 0. Who cares? Start at 0. Everything starts at the bottom. We started from the bottom, now we're here. I like to sing, even though I have bad voice. I'm the only Filipino that can't sing, but I do it anyways. You know why? Because life is so short and you have to do it anyways. So right now we have 99 followers in our business page, Multiply Influence. So I want to give a shout out to whoever turns us into 100, 3 digits. A lot of people like how to make $1 million. Well, it's 7 figures, right? You got to go through 1 figure first, 2 figures first, 3. I'm about to turn 3 figures in following. See, a lot of you are not okay to go through that small steps, but you can't skip it unless you get an inheritance and it's a fat inheritance. You win the lottery, and the problem with winning the lottery, you already know. If you've been following me, the lottery curse will get you. You see, because you did not educate yourself. The manual, when you win the lottery, they don't send you the manual with it, how to manage it. And then if you don't know how to manage it, or you don't seek help in order to retain, because see, the hard part is how do you retain a wealth like that? If you've never even had 1 figure, 2 figures, 3 figures, 6, let's see, we want to get to the 6 figures, we want to get to the 7 figures, but we want to get there overnight. No, it's not overnight. I'm already starting my sermon. Welcome, everybody. Okay, guys, welcome to Multiply. My name is, if you don't know me, you're about to. My name is Kareen Mills, and I help you make peace with your money through financial education inside my global platform, Multiply. You're inside Multiply right now, right here, right now. Multiply's mission is to help you create matrix-like awareness around your money. Shout out to Tracy Reynolds. If you're in Toronto, Canada, she is our friend who's over there, #1 florist in Toronto, Canada. And in my book, she's the #1 florist. Because I know Tracy's journey, and it hasn't been easy for her, but it's been worth it. You see, life is not easy, but it's how you deal with life that will make it worth it. Because if you give up, if you're still alive, you still got gas in there, okay? No matter how much the time, the world takes you down, gas is still in there. Otherwise, you'd be dead. Otherwise, you'd be dead. If you're still breathing, today's Thankful Thursday. Thank you for another day, right? Thank you for challenge day number 9 out of 10. I mean, it's gone really fast for us. If you're not in the challenge, here's how it works. Here's how we do this. The first hour, I go live broadcast to the world and give out free value and free content. And then the next 90 minutes after that, I turn it off and I go into my VIP. There's, let's see, Samara Beth disappeared. Darla's a VIP. John is a VIP. Tracy's a VIP. Here's the deal, guys. This is very, very evident with execution out there. There's about 100, just under 100 VIPs in this challenge. And only about 9, if we're lucky, 10 shows up and ask questions. It's almost the same people over and over again asking questions because they want to grow. And this is the problem with the world, especially when information overload is present. There's not a lack of information out there. There's a lack of execution. Let me repeat. There's not a lack of information out there. There's simply a lack of execution. You see, our mission is to help you create matrix-like awareness around your money game so you can become unstoppable. Welcome, Billy. Sorry, Billy, I didn't even see you down there. I just scrolled up. Our 3 pillars of multiply, and you cannot shuffle it. Guys, don't shuffle it. And I repeat this every day because I want to ingrain this into your brain, okay? Ingrain in the membrane. I love listening to music, and a lot of these just ingrain in my brain. You know, like music, you remember the moments of your life because of the music you were listening. Like, it's kind of like that for me. Our 3 pillars: money, time, and impact. It has to be in that order, and you'll know why here in a little bit. Because money touches everything. And this week, all week, we are talking about how money touches relationships. It touches everything, and it touches everything that you love. It's funny sometimes when we ask people, are you money motivated? No, I'm not really money motivated. Okay, what are you motivated about? Well, I'm motivated about time, quality time with family. And I would love, and then their voice grows into this big voice, right? I would love to go on vacation at least once a year or twice a year. Where are you going to get the money for that? Where are you getting the money for that? Because a lot of times these things requires funding, right? I think a lot of times we say I'm not motivated with money because we have these money blocks in here. I'm pointing, if you're in my live, I'm pointing at my, my broken English is in the way right now. Temple, my temple in my head, on my forehead, It's just money block when you say that. I'm not really motivated with money because money touches everything, and it touches everything that you love. Well, I'm motivated with, would love to see my kids go to a private school. I want to give my kids the best education. Awesome. You need funding for that, right? Unless your kids are super duper smart. I'm sure there's a lot of scholarships out there. Of course, parents, we always think our kids are super duper smart. We're biased, right? So money has to come first in order. Then the second one is time. Time. We only have 16 hours in our day to execute. We got to sleep the other 8 on a standard. Now, if you want to argue with me, Kareen, I don't need 8 hours of sleep. I don't need, I only need 5 to function. Great, good for you. But this is the standard. According to our health professionals and wellness professionals, 8 hours, which means, you always say, oh, we only got 24 hours in the day. I did the math and we only have 16. Okay. I did the math. I like doing the math on a lot of things and crush these old school of thoughts. We only got 16. I did the math on my lifetime too, by the way. And I read an article the other day or the other week. It's been a bit, and I keep saying the other day, but It says the mortality table for female in America is about 79.9. Let's just say it's 80. I just turned 44 this month. Shout out to 44. Chapter 44 is going to be amazing. All the other chapters, 43 chapters of my life, good or bad, adversity or not, up or down, it's amazing because when you look back, they teach you a lot of lessons and skills. I actually call them a gift because it stretches me. It's the training program I have in life so I could show up today and serve you today. Have an assignment, guys. And that assignment requires me to become and overcome. It requires me to become and overcome in order to serve. Otherwise, if I'm empty, see, you have to be careful what you ask for or what you don't want. Because if you don't want adversity, challenges, you're not going to build skills in life. There's no book for these things. You got to get through it to become it. You see, you got to get through it to become it. But we do not want it. Do you know what I pray for every day when it comes to this? Because I always have a long prayer, right? And I have a list of people I pray for, etc. And then I just read their name on my list. But do you know what I pray for and thank for? I thank God for the things I have and the things I don't have yet. And for the things that I really wish for and want, is I pray that it's given to me in a form I can comprehend. Because sometimes it's given to you in a form that it's simply not comprehensible for the human eye, right? Especially when it comes as an adversity. Hey, you want to be a thought leader? Here's an adversity. You got to get ready for that. If God can only talk to us and we don't want the gift because it's a challenge, and we ask, why me, God? And if God could respond to you, God would say, why not you? You asked to become this bigger person. Here's a training program for you. Bam. You know, sometimes we ask for something and it doesn't come in a bow, in a beautiful box, wrapped in a beautiful wrap. But sometimes that's the answer to what you asked for. You know, just got to figure it out. Everything I was just saying off record here to the one and only Erin, who's always the first one in the VIP room. Her and I always have a quick chat before we go live because she's always there right on the money, right on the dot. And I'll tell you a little bit about that part. But, you know, it's like you have to understand that the prayer doesn't, the answer to the prayer doesn't always come the way you expect it to come. That's why I pray now to allow me to receive them in a way where I can understand it, I could comprehend it, because it could be, I mean, that blessing could literally be walking by you and you won't notice it. It could be something I say like today in the near future, and you will not notice it because you don't have headspace to receive it. You see? So money comes first in our pillars. Number 2, time. Remember I said 16-hour days? We only have 16-hour days. And if you don't have the money, you can't multiply your time. What do you mean, Kareen? Well, if I wanted to hire Billy for whatever Billy's good at, Billy's going to need to pay his bills. I need to pay Billy for his services, right? That requires money. So to multiply your time in other people's services so you can multiply, you could have more than 16-hour days, right? But you outsource the things that maybe it's not your best spend of your time. And then you start looking at, where is my time best spent? You allocate your time accordingly, and then you deploy your money accordingly. You focus on the income producing activity, not the money sucking activity. And if you're not good at something, for example, you want to try and do your own taxes, or you want to try and do your own bookkeeping, and you're not really good at that, that's not your craft. That's not the talent that you were gifted, right? You could learn it, but it might take you forever. And by the time you're finished, after quantifying your time, let's say get paid $100 an hour, give or take, then you spend 10 hours a month to do your own bookkeeping, that's $1,000 wasted. First of all, time you will never get back. You'd be lucky if $1,000 technically went out the door, because you can always make more money. You see, when I was talking about the mortality table, 80 years old for female, I don't know what the male is, but 80 for female. I turned 44. I've got less years left than I've lived. You can only imagine the urgency that I have. So 36 years based on that table. I know we always say, I'm gonna live to 100, Kareen. Oh, really? What do you do to do that? That's going to be part of your legacy, to live until 100. Sure. But is what you're doing today aligned with that legacy? Or are you drinking a lot? Or are you eating crap every day? Or are you waking up maybe every other day to go take a walk in your neighborhood to start your, to start your journey to 100? If that's not aligned right now, unfortunately, that legacy isn't going to happen. You don't get to live in that legacy. And many of us always say, I want to leave a legacy. No, for me, I want to live in my legacy. I want to live in it before I leave it. I talked about remodeling a house the other day, and my husband and I always like to buy, like a house that needs maybe cosmetic work or some work, so we can add value to it, right? And our first one, we had one room, we left until we had to sell it, and we didn't even get to enjoy it. That's what I'm talking about when you're living in your legacy. You got to get to enjoy it first and live in it before you leave it. Don't just make it a goal to leave it. Make it a goal to live in it. And the urgency, you got to do the math, because there's got to be some sort of a level of urgency so you can align what you're doing today to live in it as soon as possible. So make sure that you write down those legacy, what that looks like. So going back to the math of mortality, 36 times 16, 36 years, that would be 350. You got to do the math. 350 whatever days, 365 days a year, right? And then times 16 hours every day to execute on your vision, on your legacy. It's not that much hours. It's not that much time. You see, a lot of you don't do the math because you don't want to face the morbidity of it. But it's the only certain thing in life. Everything else is unknown. Everything else is unknown. That is the only certain in life, is that you will pass to the next one. And unfortunately, the unknown part, where you don't know when that fateful day comes, you will just get a call, your number gets called, and your number is up. So you got to do the math, and you just got to face those things. And, I know it sucks to think about it, but I don't think about it. I just do the math about it, and then I get it done. Go to work. Hashtag do the work. Number 3, impact. Impact. My daily devotion today. And guys, if you want to catch up with me, every day I post my daily devotion inside my story on Instagram. The daily devotion today is actually about impact, and it's about loving others. And what it says, this is one of my favorite one. And I've gone like 5 rounds, maybe even 6 rounds. Let's see, 20. Yeah, maybe even 6 rounds of this book. And every time that June 22nd comes, that says Random Act of Kindness is the title. It's pretty much all about impact. This man saw on the news, this guy from Bakersfield, California, saw on the news about, you know how the news is, it's always about the bad stuff, right? Because that makes ratings. It's called a good news day when the world is in shambles. I hate the news. This man saw that whenever they put these breaking news out, it says random act of senseless violence, right? To get your attention, it's senseless violence. And while we're talking about impact today, that's why I'm sharing this. And he decided, he's a teacher, he decided to create a project called Random Act of Senseless Kindness. And he asked his students to do random act of kindness, random act of senseless kindness, to reverse and to highlight the good in this life that we can do, the impact that we can do. And I often talk about your multiple streams of impact needs funding. That's why money has to come first. It's never about the money, but the things you want in your legacy requires funding. It requires funding. And the beautiful thing about having the funding is you get to hire other people and you get to provide a living for their family. It literally just multiplies your impact, multiple streams of impact. That's what money can do. Money only magnifies who you already are. If you're a bad person with it or without it, you're going to be that person with it. If you're a kind person like this person in this story in my daily devotion today, this morning, and you're doing before money, you're already doing random act of senseless kindness, you're going to do a lot more of that with money. That's what money can do for you. So don't be afraid. From now on, if this is the first time you heard me talk about this, do not be afraid to talk about money anymore. Do not be afraid to say yes to somebody. If they say, are you money motivated? Heck yes, I am. Kareen said the pillars. Money comes first in order to multiply my time and impact. I need a lot of those. Like, even if you don't, like, before, when I wasn't okay saying that, even when you're inside, doesn't feel comfortable saying that, do it anyways, because it gets easier over time. You have to practice. The 3 stages of multiply, which is proprietary, is money keeping, money making, and money multiplying. Multiplying is the fun part. Because the first 2, you have to work hard for your money while you're awake. The multiplying part, it's your money's turn to work hard for you while you go to bed. And you can have both. You can live in that legacy as soon as possible. If you're clear with your goals, if you're clear with that legacy, if you know how to get there by breaking it down, because we always have an annual goal. And then on January 1st, when we set out our New Year's resolution, we don't do anything to align ourselves with that legacy. We slack because we think we have 12 months that's left in 2024. I'm already looking at my next year, right? We think we have that much time and then we slack. Yeah, it's only January. Let's go ahead and wait until February to execute. Remember, guys, you only have 16 hours in your day to execute. 16 hours. That's if you go straight and do nothing but hustle. But of course, you have to go pick up the kids from school. You got to go, if you watch teleseries, you got to watch your teleseries. Shout out to my soap opera people out there. Waste of freaking time. Waste of freaking time. You got to watch Judge Judy, You might just have 6 hours in your day to execute. Got to watch the Kardashians. Freaking waste of time. If you have a legacy, now if your legacy is to do that, more power to you. All good. I won't make you wrong. Just don't make me wrong. We just don't make each other wrong, right? So 16-hour days, it's not a lot of time. Got to cook dinner for the family, got to go to the grocery store. I mean, life. There's a lot to do in life. It's not just all about execution, right? So I was made in the Philippines, born and raised. Shout out to my Filipino people. I came to America at 20. Broken English. 4 months later, I went from broken English to broke. Had a personal injury lawsuit, another story for another day. Money is my jam, but it hasn't always been. It jammed me first. That 4 months later part jammed the heck out of me first. $18,000 lawsuit. When you have money right now, 18,000 is still a lot of money because I work hard for my money. I earned that, every penny of that. You know, nobody handed me anything. I learned everything, a lot of things the hard way, not everything, but a lot of things. And the more mature you are, the more you realize that you actually don't have to learn everything the hard way. You can learn from people's wisdom, but guess what that costs? Money. It costs money to go to masterminds. It costs money to pick other people's brain. You should not do that. You should not pick other people's brain for free. Because they also only have 16 hours in their day. You see, that's not okay. It's not okay to ask people, can I pick your brain and waste their time? They have bills to pay. We all do, right? You should say, hey, what's it cost to learn from you? Because it's a real exchange. It is a real exchange. What's it cost to learn from you? Because you don't want your money. Money actually needs to flow through you, but it just needs to flow through you strategically. It's not meant to be hoarded. You're not a container of it. You're a reservoir of it. Just like the reservoir, the water reservoir, the water is moving. Because what happens when the water doesn't move? Try putting it in a container in your house. Starts growing something weird in there, right? It starts growing weird stuff in there. You see, it's not meant to be it's not meant to be, locked up in a drawer or shoved under a mattress. It's meant to move. Money should be moving, but you got to make it move smart. That's where, don't take this advice and say, oh, Kareen says, I got to move my money. I got a couple thousand in my savings account. I'm going to Louis Vuitton today to make sure my money moves. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say move, I mean multiply it. Will that move multiply your money? And if it doesn't multiply your money, oh, Kareen, what's a mastermind do if I buy a mastermind? It doesn't multiply my money. No, but it multiplies your knowledge so you can go execute. Here's the problem. You're not going to execute. You have to make a commitment to show up, and you have to commitment to go then execute, because applied knowledge is where it's at. Information is massive out there. You could just YouTube University everything. I don't need to teach you. But there's massive amount of information. Remember, you only have 16 hours in the day though. So if you watch videos unlimited on YouTube for 16 hours and you don't tap into someone's knowledge to get a shortcut and make it quicker, you ain't going to get to your legacy quicker. You're not going to live in your legacy quicker. You might leave a legacy, but if you want to live in it, you may not get there quicker. If you YouTube University everything, because no one, like the free stuff, right? A lot of those free stuff, you also will not pay too much attention to it because it's free. John Lee always says, those who pay attention. Hashtag do the work. So guys, today we're talking about discussing money background before you get married. You need to discuss it, and here's why. And I always like to use my own self. My husband grew up in the Oregon coast. I grew up in the tropics, right in the Philippines, both ends of the spectrum of the Pacific Ocean. My side was the better side, though. And not only that, culturally, we have so much differences. We also have a lot of different background, especially when it comes to money, because we were raised by two different sets of parents. This is why the generational imprint of money is huge, because your parents were also raised by two different sets of parents, and so on and so on and so on, back with your ancestors, whoever they were. It gets passed on from one generation to another, whether you like it or not. And when they get to you, your generation, they teach you what they know, and they teach you what was passed on to them or what was shown them, right? So if you don't discuss these things, if you expect it to be honeymoon stage every single day, and we're going to have so much fun, we're going to travel the world together, we're going to have kids together, we're going to have, do all of these things. If you think it's just going to be smooth sailing, shout out to my married people out there. They know what I'm talking about. You're asking for rainbows and unicorns. It doesn't exist. So how you're going to do this is when you find someone that you just getting to know, right? Because a lot of times these are weird conversations if you go straight to money. So say you just met someone and you're like, so how were you raised around money? That's weird. You're being weird right now. So how do we then get to know someone without asking directly in the roundabout way? Here's how we're going to do it. Especially when you're interested in a person. And I mean, if, what is it? What is it called? What do they call it? Swipe left, swipe right. I don't know which way you swipe when you pass on somebody, but if you are swiping to the, I want to get to know this person, to that direction, here's how you do it. You say, how was your childhood? Would love to know how your childhood was. And in that conversation, make it so that organically they open up about everything. And you'd be surprised what they're going to share with you, because here's the deal. They think they're just blaming their parents. They describe their childhood, especially when they have, a not so good journey in there. And they're going to tell you all the drama they had to go through. Well, let me tell you something, and I'm leaning in to tell you a secret. You are your parents. It's an intel for you to understand what are you getting into. Because whether you like it or not, the molding is in there. You're molded by two sets of parents. They think they're just going to tell you all the things that their parents did, right? So congratulations, you have you have a tool in your toolbox now, where all you do is, how was your childhood? In a very sweet, proper way. And they'll tell you, especially the ladies, we like to talk about it. Shout out to the ladies in the room. I exist to serve the ladies because of my mama, and that's the heart in my photo, my mama's heart. Shout out to Rose. Rose did a lot. I watched Rose do a lot of things, my mom. And, sometimes You make it, a lot of times they pass that on to you and you make their life your life, right? But you don't have to. You can break the cycle. See, a lot of times we think that we can't. I use it as an inspiration, and now she's the brand of my brand, the heart on my photo. Every time I see that heart, it reminds me that, by golly, I'm not going to put that to waste, whatever she sacrificed for us. I'm going to allow myself to be part of her multiple streams of impact, to tribute to her, to pay tribute to my mom, to make sure that her sacrifices aren't going to waste. And then she multiplies that to her 6 children, right? There's 6 of us, 3 and 3, 3 females, 3 males. And it's all 6 of us are multiplying that in our own ways, right? So make sure that you do that. Because when you ask someone, how was your childhood? They're going to start talking smack about their parents. Because it's exterior. They're not talking about themselves. You get to take a real sneak peek of what's inside that person. You get to get the front row of what is going to happen to your relationship if you move forward with that person when the going gets tough. Because yesterday I was talking about joint account in marriage, right? That was the title from yesterday. And if you didn't see it, you can go back to the replay, since we live broadcast everything every day from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Pacific Standard. You could go to my Multiply Influence Facebook and catch up with all the 10 days. So tomorrow when you come back, you can catch up. Tomorrow's title is Love is Grand, Divorce is 10 grand. And that, my friend, is how we're going to finish this challenge tomorrow. You see? So if you hear how their childhood was, and they're talking about their parents or talking about themselves, don't forget that that child is in them. The child that watched that is inside of them, and they can never get rid of that child. So when that child showing up in your relationship, shout out to the married people in the room or the people that's been divorced before. That child in them will show up in the relationship. And here's the problem. They show up unannounced. They show up unannounced in that relationship. That's why it's critical. The title today is Discuss Money Background, especially if you are about to tie the knot. I would recommend doing it before you tie the knot, because the honeymoon stage is not going to be forever. In fact, the honeymoon stage is like this small. It's very small. So for those of you that are moving on to your next relationship, or you're a young adult about to get married, or whatever, you're about to tie a knot, make sure you talk about this. And it is an adult thing to do. It is, in fact, your responsibility to address this. Because if you truly, truly love somebody, and you truly mean what you say in your vows, through thick or thin, in sickness and in health, till death do we part, you truly, truly need to talk about this. While the going is easy. While the going is easy, this is the best time to talk about this, and establish each other's role in your relationship with money as a couple. Because as a couple, you become a union of 2 people and partners in a personal relationship. And if you become a union of 2 people and you're not committing to that union, Houston, we have a problem. What happened? What happened to the dating, the excitement, the butterfly in the stomach, the honeymoon stage? They go away pretty darn fast. And if you don't address the middle of this, since I'm in the money coaching world, now there's a lot of other issues that comes. It's not just about money, okay? But that's not my subject matter. My subject matter is money. If you don't address the middle and you only address and spend a lot of money on the beginning, which is the wedding, the flowers, and Tracy was not here yesterday, but Tracy, I was talking about my wedding coordinator in Catalina Island. I had a small 30 people wedding, and she asked me, what's your flower budget? And I said, I don't know, you're the coordinator. What should my flower budget be? Looking at my entire budget. She said, it's not much. She said, honey, I have done weddings with $30,000 just in flowers, and I about fell off my freaking chair. People address the beginning in a massive way. You know why? Because it is a show. Everybody, your family, your close friends, whoever you want to invite to that wedding are there for the show. I love going to weddings. It's just beautiful to see two people become a union. But I'm also worried for them. From experience, right? I'm worried for them if they've talked about money or not before they tie the knot and blow all this money on a wedding. You see, because getting married is just like buying a yacht, according to, well, it's not according to Grant Cardone, but he did do the yacht part and I'm doing the married part. So together it's like analogizing things, right? He said buying a yacht is fun when you get it and fun when you get rid of it. The middle side, the maintenance, right? Nobody addresses the maintenance. The maintenance is like this big. You got to address it. It is a huge part of your couple life, your married life. It's the maintenance part. Okay, how are we going to do this? Or, are we going to do joint account? Yes, you should. From my perspective, in my professional opinion, you should do that. Now it's up to you if you don't want to do that. Maybe you have some traumas in your past marriage. I don't know. People do things based on their pasts, even though the past is gone. You should look at the present and enjoy the present and then move on to the future and change what happened in the past. Don't spend too much time there. I mean, there's a lot of people bring up the past in a conversation. That's what I mean when I say that child will never leave. It will show up in your relationship unannounced. If you don't learn how to regulate it, you can regulate it by having a clear channel of communication when it comes to these things, because these things are important. They're huge in your journey. They're the middle, because if you don't address the middle, you are more likely going to get to the end. And that's what Grant Cardone said about a yacht. I know marriage is not a yacht, but I'm just in a lot. My broken English is in the way again. Analogizing that it's fun because weddings are fun. It's fun. It's very fun when you get it. And it's fun when you get rid of it. Remember, tomorrow's title, Love is Grand, Divorce is 10 grand or more. I know some people going through it, they're out 100 each on each side. I understand why that is. Just remove the ego, guys. Your ego is not your amigo, especially when children are involved. I'm scratching my head. It's not about you, it's the children, okay? You know why? Because that child inside of them, when they go do their adult life, just like I described your life and your background around money, that child you're molding right now, no matter how adult they become, that's going to show up in their own relationship. because that's what you're showing them. And they only know what they know. They don't know what other things until you make a decision in your adult life, like I did, that no longer I will allow the money blocks that I was raised with. No longer I will allow the money blocks I was watching, because I know there's a better way. When you make a decision that there is a better way, when you learn that you can regulate that child inside of you so that when the going gets tough, you could take deep breaths, you could regulate it just like you would in, like, you know how when you have a health issue, you have to regulate it. High blood pressure, it's there. I don't know if you could reverse a high blood pressure. I have heard you could reverse diabetes, especially when you're in the early stages of it, right? Any molding you have and was shown while you were little, you have zero control over it. You cannot reverse it. You can regulate it. And the minute that you decide, and it's going to take a while to be able to have the power to regulate it, the minute that you decide that you're going to be the boss of it, and it's not going to show up unannounced and let it control everything, when you feel like it's starting to come up, you learn how to walk away from maybe an argument, because you could feel that little girl, little boy coming out of you and go into war with whoever you're speaking to. That's what regulating means, is you learn how to calm down, walk away. Mine is yelling. When things get heated up and the yelling starts happening and the voices starts elevating the tone, I know that's not okay with me. And it should not be okay with everybody. But that doesn't give you a reason to throw a chair to someone like I was shown, right? To be violent with somebody. But I could feel that in me, that I'm about to get really angry, right? And I need to walk away from this conversation, take a walk, be quiet, spend some time with little Kareen, tell little Kareen it's going to be okay. Don't show up today. Stay down there. Little Kareen, stay down there. Don't get too angry. And then I come back. That's what it means to be able to regulate that, because you literally could hurt people you love. And once you say things, you can never take it back. Once you say things, you can never take it back. Trust me, I've done it. Because you allowed the control tower inside of you that used to be there or still there, but used to control you, let go of words that are hurtful, So learn how to regulate those. Talk about money before you get married. Talk about money as early as dating if you feel like you want to get to know about this person. And you guys already know how to do that and how to bring that up to the table without bringing that up to the table. If you weren't here earlier, you could watch the replay of how we do that in a very smooth way without being weird about it. Because money is a weird conversation to have, especially with somebody that you maybe want to get serious with, or you're about to tie the knot with somebody and you've never done it. If you love each other, you need to start doing it, because I could tell you money touches everything, and it touches everything that you love. So that way you don't get to the end. You know how to regulate each other. You know how to address the issue. You communicate. Yesterday, I talked about the 5 reasons why people get a divorce from reading this article that I saved, right? So I went back to the article and I said, I can tell you, even though money is number 4 in this reasons, the top 5 reasons of people divorcing, I could tell you that every single one of these reasons, money is touching. Money is touching it, right? Because when you have issues with money, even though it's number 4, you go back to the number 1, which was infidelity. There's a lot of financial infidelity happening in a marriage out there, especially because yesterday I was talking about joint accounts, right? Without a joint account, that encourages financial infidelity. Why would you start that if the definition of marriage is recognized as a union of two people as partners in a personal relationship? Maybe because of trauma. You don't want to have a joint account with someone because in the past, you had a joint account and something bad happened that led to a bad situation. Listen, that was only bad because you didn't address the middle before you got into the beginning. That's it. Don't be afraid to do it again, but make sure you make changes and have constant open channel of communication from the get-go. It only turned that way because you didn't address the middle. So when you do it again, maybe you just need to change the system. It was just a broken system, has nothing to do with you. It was just a wrong system maybe that you employed with your loved one. So make sure that you really do this, because if you truly, truly love each other, this has to happen. It has to happen. There's no way around it. You can't suppress it. It will cause issue in your middle, in your journey together. Guys, I've got 5:59 on the clock. My time is almost up, and this is the 9th day of our 10 days together, live broadcast to the world. It has been a really fun time, and tomorrow we're going to talk about love is grand, divorce is 10 grand. We go out with a bang. I wish I have more time to address parenting around money, but I'm going to address that in my next challenge, which I'm probably going to do every quarter, just like I have been doing. And Tracy and a lot of the club members and the VIPs have been in those challenges. And a shout out to Tracy, who's achieved a lot of exciting stuff in her life, because 90 days, we've been doing 90 day. This is our first 10-day challenge. The 90 days challenge is I like to run my business and my life in 90-day goals, because it's short enough that it gives me urgency and it doesn't give me the illusion that I have time. I have a whole year. It gives me urgency that I only have 90 days to achieve a certain goal. And it's also long enough that it matters, that I can make it matter. But today, or on this challenge wave, we're doing a 10-day, 2-week challenge, and we're live broadcasting it to 5 different platforms. So we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse. And that way we could teach the world and give some value out to the world, because you all know what my vision is: to mother the world through financial education so people can have financial freedom. To mother the world through financial education so people can achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom is not when you get wealthy. It is when you have more money at the end of the month. It feels good, especially when you've been chasing money and you wonder sometimes where all my money went, because most people have money coming in, but not everybody have the discipline to actually make peace with their money through financial education. It requires a lot of discipline and commitment. And if those two things are missing, there's a lot of people out there that makes a lot of money. And if those two are missing, unfortunately, you can never have enough money. The money is never enough. And it's always chaotic. You will never make peace with your money. That's how we make peace with our money, is to slow down in order to speed up. A lot of people focus a lot on the speeding up part, and that's okay if it's worked for you. But if it hasn't worked for you, it's called insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting the same outcome. Something has to change for something else to change. Something has to change for something else to change. So I was called to do this 10-day challenge, 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, in order to have a communication channel to all of you and multiply my platforms, not just with 1 or 2, but with 5 platforms. I can actually go to 30 platforms if I wanted to, all at once. but I don't have a login to all of those platforms yet. And some of those platforms, you guys, are like foreign to me. I've never heard of them. So it's crazy what's happening. What we're also doing, by the way, and I want to share this game with you. We are virtual assistants. We are taking one content, like this content's going to be repurposed, right? It'll get repurposed in different ways: blog, article, reels, newsletter, all kinds of omnipresence. So if that's you and you want to get this one going as well, we are leveraging AIs to get it quicker. If that's you and you want to be omnipresent and you want to get on a lot of platforms, whether it's going to be a written article or any other things, you want to hire myvateam.com. Hire my VA, as in virtual assistants, not Veterans Affair. Although shout out to the veterans out there. Thank you for your service. Thank you so much for giving me the freedom to do this, like right here, right now. So I get to do this. But hire myvateam.com is the URL. And we will teach you all the stuff. We can do it for you, but you're going to have to remember the 3 pillars of multiply. You got to multiply money first, so you can multiply your impact through the VAs, or multiply your time by hiring our VA, because it costs money. And then they can help you build multiple streams of impact through many channels. That's the game we're playing right now. To multiply my presence. To multiply my presence, it equals to multiplying my impact. I also expect people to disagree with me. When you're doing something right for a group of people, you're going to be doing something wrong for another group of people. It's just the name of the game. It's just the world that we live in. You can't please everybody. So expect that you're going to have maybe some nasty comments somewhere out there. Don't focus on them. Focus on your people that are loving on you. Don't give them any time of day and any of your breaths, because every breath you take counts. And if you give them any of your breaths, they don't deserve it. So I just want to leave you with that. Leadership to Legacy is happening in July. If you want to be on the wait list, you can go to my Instagram profile and any other link on my bio and join the wait list for Leadership to Legacy, because you need to live in your legacy. You can't just leave a legacy. You got to live in it to enjoy it. You work hard for it. You need to live in it, but you got to be aligned with it. And unfortunately, this challenge is going to end tomorrow. So, I mean, you could still catch up, but there's only one more day left, right? I don't know if you want to do that, but you can watch all the live broadcast replays on my Multiply Influence Facebook. I want to look at the Facebook because it was 99 followers. This is a fairly new Facebook that we built. 99 followers earlier before I started this. And we have 100 now. So shout out to whoever did the 100. Thank you so much. My time is over. I'm going to go to the VIP now. And for those VIPs that are in the room, feel free to come if you have any questions. By the way, I coach them to their questions and we make it happen. We record it, okay? And we load it onto the VIP or the club portal. So you have lifetime access to it. You have lifetime access to all the recordings, because whenever somebody asks a question, it could be an answer for someone else. Have a wonderful day, everybody. It has been a great hour. I am going to the VIP now to make sure that I serve them for the next 90 minutes. If you want to be VIP, got to join VIP or the club. Link in my bio everywhere. Also link above my head. So if you see that there's a link above my head, which is a link tree, it's all I mean, they're all there too. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being here. See you tomorrow, 10 of 10. All righty. Whew, whew. This was good.